Well, in some news coming in, a mega Indo-Russian jet deal is on the brink of collapse. In fact, we're getting to hear that there is a massive blow to India Air Force future plans. Big trouble in the $11 billion Indo-Russian jet deal. The advanced stealth aircraft project is nosediving, and we are also, getting access to Furious Air Force version. The project to build the 5th generation fighter jet. The big question that really is emerging out of this news is, can Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister who is in Russia, save the Indo-Russian defense deal? Let's get in a quick word from Jugal Purohit. Jugal, this has been a long delayed contract, isn't it? I mean, this project was commissioned in October 2007. What is really the problem?
That's right, Avantika. We'll have to wait and watch as to what comes out of this meeting and this visit by Prime Minister Modi and his meetings with the Russian government, the head, which took place yesterday. Now, coming to the issue at hand, this particular aircraft hasn't really lived up to the expectations of the Indian Air Force. It is already quite late. The research and development contract of this aircraft hasn't been signed. India and Russia were together supposed to produce this plane, which is running late. The Air Force isn't very happy about the way it has turned out, and now delivering what can perhaps, and we hope it doesn't, is a body blow of sorts, is the Russian Defense Ministry's stand, which has been enunciated by the Deputy Defense Minister. He's saying that from an initial requirement of 55 of these T-50 PAK-FA Pakfa planes, the Russian Air Force is now reducing its requirement to just about a handful of 17 odd planes, which is just one squadron from the 3 that it had initially planned. When asked as to why is the reason, there was no real cause attributed, but they said that we are going to induct a different variety of plane, which actually tells you that there is an inherent problem, which is not just the Indian Air Force's observation, but it now increasingly seems to be that of the Russian Air Force as well. And if that be so, then just where does the project go from here? Also, Avantika, I spoke to a number of retired Air Force officers who said that as of now, this project hasn't really lived up to the expectations of the Indian Air Force. The Russians aren't allowing India the kind of access that India wants, and with this particular stand of the Russian Defense Ministry to actually reduce the numbers to just one squadron, they're saying that it's perhaps the perfect time to pull out of a deal like this to ensure that India doesn't spend any more money. Remember, India has already pumped in 1,500 crore rupees into this project already, but India still complains of an inferior plane, of not being allowed access, of not being allowed the rights to co-develop this plane.
If you could just specify to us what really have been the reservations of the Indian Air Force as far as the performance of the 5th generation fighter aircraft is concerned. What is the resistance that they put forth to the Defense Ministry?
Well, you see, it's a 5th generation stealth fighter. You name it and every department has a problem. It's running late on the timelines. The stealth technology isn't proven. The engines aren't powerful enough. The weapon systems haven't been, embedded well enough. There are an N number of problems that the Air Force has highlighted. But what is of most importance is this particular, show of lack of confidence by Russia. Remember, Russia is the senior partner in this project. Now, if the Russians themselves are to shy out of this project and say that we are not going to take too many of these aircraft, which we were to initially take 55, and now we don't want to take these aircrafts anymore, we'll take some other aircraft. It actually tells you that the confidence isn't there, and the concerns that the Indian Air Force was raising about all these parameters that I told you are actually now being felt perhaps by the Russians as well. And as I said, if that be so, then should India continue to remain invested in this project? Should Narendra Modi and Vladimir Putin actually work out a new deal by which you get what you want and in the way you want it? These are questions which remain to be answered, but the fact is that this show of lack of confidence by the Russian Defense Ministry in a plane its scientists are building in Russia goes to great lengths telling India that perhaps its reservations were very, very correct. Remember, Avantika, the Air Force isn't making it public, but it's extremely unhappy with this plane on the parameters that I told you about. And if that be so, this perhaps is the body blow which I was telling you about, the Russian Defense Ministry's move to curtail and get out of this project altogether, leaving India India as the sole aircraft user. Remember, India wanted 255 of these planes. Where does this leave India is the big question.
Absolutely. Interestingly, those concerns highlighted by Russia only validates, the apprehensions and the reservations expressed by the Indian Air Force. So clearly, the fifth generation fighter aircraft's future hangs in balance. Jugal, thanks so much for joining.
26th of November, YSR Congress Party MP from Rajampet, PV Mithun Reddy, along with his supporters, allegedly slapped the Tirupati airport manager Rajshekhar when airport authorities refused.
The winters are upon us. Time to take out your sweater jackets and, in my case, cap. In fact, my colleague Rohit has already started knitting. Now, Sony smartphones, I really like them, because they have their own design philosophy.